Madam President.
Senator from Delaware.
Thank you, Madam President. Yesterday, when the budget resolution came to the floor, I introduced an amendment. It's a simple, straightforward piece of legislation that will protect American consumers by prohibiting tariffs that increase the cost of building a house. About 2 days ago, we passed a bipartisan resolution reversing President Trump's unnecessary national emergency on Canadian imports. That's right, our closest ally to the north is now on the receiving end of a senseless trade war. Essential groceries and food products, building supplies, materials that impact our national security, all of these things and more that cross the border are now each and every day in jeopardy. I recently asked the Federal Reserve Chairman, are tariffs a tax? And he said, well, you will pay either the tariff at the exporter level, the importer, the retailer, and or the consumer. And who is most likely to feel the pain? I and most economists believe it is American families and small businesses. When it comes to the cost of building materials, home buyers are going to bear the brunt of the burden. All of this in the same week that the Trump administration said it would shake up the agency that oversees federal housing loans. I wrote to the administration on Monday to get just some clarity on what does shake up mean. And because I believe and I know that this will ultimately mean higher mortgages and higher rents. At this rate, in just a few weeks' time, the cost to build a home is going to go up. The cost to own a home is going to go up. The cost to rent a home is going to go up, while we are in the midst of a housing crisis. All thanks to reckless policies of this administration with the support of my Republican colleagues. Picture this, you are a young couple living in Wilmington, Delaware. You've been married a few years and have been saving to buy your first home. You were smart. You've been investing with the intention of putting 10% down. You have nearly $40,000 in investments that you were ready to sell to cover your down payment. You are almost there, almost there. That's $400,000 home that you were eyeing, has been on the market for a few months now, but then this administration slaps tariffs on half the world and the market drops. There goes your $40,000. There goes your down payment and your dream of home ownership. Or think of a couple in Dover. They've been living in their home for about 10 years and they're looking to sell it. They've saved up about $20,000 to redo their kitchen so that they can increase the value of their home. They want to update it and then put it on the market. So a new refrigerator, maybe a new dishwasher, update the cabinets and flooring, the works. But with the tariffs, what would have once been covered by the cost of what you've saved now is just a drop in the bucket. A house is made of many imported materials, and these tariffs increase the amount consumers will have to spend each and every step along the way. Let's look at a new build from the ground up and how the president's tariffs will make it more expensive. According to the New York Times, the United States became the biggest importer of cement in 2023. Cement is a key component in laying the foundation of a home. And these tariffs could raise the price of cement alone 18%. Just the foundation increased by 18%. So now you've spent the money to build the foundation. It's time for the framing. Well, the cost of lumber is expected to go up 4%. You'll need exterior windows and doors too. Those materials could go up 11%. Want a roof? Anybody want a roof? Another 21% bump. Siding, 7% increase. How about some water and electricity? Plumbing, electrical, and mechanical parts could cost as much as 8% higher. Insulation and drywall are expected to cost 20% more. Add another 17% bump for countertops, cabinets, and 11% increase for appliances too. These dollars add up. It's a compounding effect and an avalanche of increased cost at a moment where investment accounts, savings accounts, and retirement funds are starting to drain. I actually met someone this morning who was ready to retire from their job this year, and he said, I can't retire. I'm going to have to just wait until the dust settles. For so many across our nation, these tariffs mean more than an increase in price. It can cost them their dreams, their financial future, a literal roof over their heads in a place called home. Now, I'm pretty sure that President Trump ran on an agenda of lowering costs. But what we are seeing here are broken promises and a shakedown of working families to line the pockets of his billionaire friends. When I came to Congress back in 2016, I was driven to serve when I saw a dad and 3 kids in front of me in the supermarket put back grapes because they were $9. It wasn't soda, it wasn't candy, it was grapes. Many times over the years, I have thought about that dad and those kids. I think about them today. And the reality is, this administration's policies are only making it harder for them to make ends meet. I'm sorely disappointed that my Republican colleagues refuse to stand up for their states and their constituents, despite knowing how harmful these tariffs will be. The rest of the world knows. As a matter of fact, it's why we're seeing the stock market perform at its worst. It's a collapse that we have not seen since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. So let's be clear. These 19th century trade policies do not prepare us for the 21st century economy. Instead of a national, well thought out, and comprehensive strategy that includes strengthening our supply chains, this administration is approaching trade like they're approaching government efficiency, with a chainsaw, a wood chipper, and a hatchet. It gives new meaning to the phrase, using all the tools in your toolbox. The problem is they're using the wrong tools. The uncertainty being created will, in fact, stop investments, hurt innovation, and lead to layoffs and less hiring and stunted growth. This budget does not reflect the needs of our constituents or the times. I urge my colleagues to vote no on this budget resolution, and I yield back.